Lords, ladies, and looters of the Reach, gather round the grand stage of interstellar anticipation, for today we shine a spotlight on a rising star in the gaming galaxy, Wildgate. Crafted by the seasoned spellcasters formerly of Blizzard fame, this game launches not with a whimper, but with a gleaming, smooth-running, spectacle-filled bang. And unlike the corporate carnival barkers of yore, Moonshot and Dreamhaven dare to defy the modern circus of microtransactions. There's no pay-to-win system, no loot box malarkey, just a single ticket to ride, and oh, what a ride it's shaping up to be. This video is both a standing ovation and a cheeky nudge, my hopes, dreams, and deliciously detailed feedback for Wildgate before its grand premiere. So let us step behind the curtain. Let's start with a confession, dear viewers. I'm smitten. Wildgate isn't just another hopeful early access, it's a marvel of mechanical engineering and artistic audacity. The moment I stepped aboard my vessel, I felt something rare. Trust. Trust in these devs, trust in the system, and trust that the game wouldn't buckle, break, or bombard me with baffling bugs. Performance-wise, it's a dream. Crisp visuals without the overheated GPU drama, butter-smooth frame rates even in mid-combat, and as somebody who has dabbled in enough unfinished indie chaos to know better, this level of polish at this stage, all I can say is chef's kiss, a top hat tip, and a standing ovation. But perhaps most excitingly, Moonshot and Dreamhaven's model is a love letter to the golden age of gaming. A full feature-rich experience in exchange for one upfront purchase. No cosmetic store, selling you hats for $12.99, no battle passes, just gameplay. That's the kind of business model that earns trust before the tutorial even finishes loading. And let me just say, these devs, they're not hiding behind closed curtains. They showed up at my birthday subathon, they were kind, curious, genuinely excited to talk with creators like me, and that sort of outreach, especially during a testing phase, is worth its weight in digital gold. Before we get into the video, I just want to give a huge shout out and a thanks to my first ever YouTube member. If you'd like a shout out like this in future videos, join the membership program for my channel. It helps out a lot. Thanks. Now, while I may be all jazz hands and big smiles, I do have some notes, the kind you slip under the director's door with a wink. Let's start with PvE. Wildgate's not for the faint of heart, and I love that. The monsters, the mechanic, the mayhem, all deliciously intense. But the Reach beasts, especially in low oxygen zones, can feel a little bit unfun. Their beam attack hits like a spotlight straight to the soul, and it crosses that delicate line from challenging to cruel. A slight dimming of that beam might keep the drama without burning out the fun in PvE areas. As for PvP, chef's kiss again. Gunplay feels grounded, movement is meaningful, and for the Sea of Thieves veteran like myself, the transition of naval combat is intuitive. But we do have a diva on set, the Amy. It's not just strong, it's an attention hog. It dominates loadouts and stifles creativity. It's an auto-lock weapon, it's a burst pistol, and as you can imagine, it might cause some issues with PvP. Dialing it back to 30 per burst from the 45 it currently does with a PvE multiplier might restore harmony to the cast. The Doctor, which is a healing and damage device, also has a similar lock-on and deserves similar scrutiny. Lock-on mechanics in PvP are like a stunt double doing the final scene, effective but deeply unsatisfying. Wildgate deserves better choreography than auto-aim slap fights. Now, let's talk about the true star of the show, the ships. These flying fortresses are beautifully distinct, easy to read, and fun to handle. You feel the difference in every turn and turret, but even the best stage show needs a lighting check. Laser rams, oh my stars and garters, they're potent. I love them, too much perhaps. I didn't lose a single match after equipping one. That's a clue, folks. The mine layer, it's not so much a trap as it is a death sentence, especially when found early. Just a small nerf could go a long way to keeping early game balance fair. And while we're at it, the rock, hilariously chaotic, perfect, just maybe drop it to 2 charges. We love the circus act, but we don't want it to flatten the tent. And now, my dear audience, we arrive at my passion project within Wildgate, piloting. My pride, my purpose, and yet my pain. I enjoy boarding as much as the next man, but if anybody needs me on helm, I'm happy to take the role. Piloting is essential and piloting is hard, but right now, pilots are a bit underloved and underappreciated. The glass helm can be shattered in seconds. Nobody wants to stay on board and help. And it's like captaining a ship full of circus rats who all want to be fired out of a cannon to go board. Here's what I proposed to Moonshot and the feedback that I gave them, and I do hope it makes the final cut. Reinforcement panels, a universal gadget with 2 charges, that can fortify either glass or doors with a trade-off of neither of them being passable. Great for prepping the ship against boarders without ruining map flow, but it does have trade-offs since you no longer can use that window or door for visibility or access point. A multicam system for the ship, inspired by Subnautica's Cyclops submersible. Adding a top-down, rear, and underside camera to all of the ships would help pilots park, pivot, and avoid embarrassing rock collisions, letting skillful pilots shine, and allowing new pilots to learn the system better in a more forgiving environment. And while we're at it, this may be more of a long shot, but let's expand shipside roles. I designed 3 defensive archetypes to complement Sal and Samo, and while this may be a long shot, I think it's important to discuss other characters that might assist with onboard interactions that help us all want to play and stay on the ship rather than everyone wanting to board relentlessly. To make sure that this video doesn't run long, I'm going to make sure that this next section moves along quickly. If you like more detailed information on what I'm thinking for these 3 archetypes, I will put the full breakdown of the kit ideas that I had in the description down below. So if you want more information, take a peek down there. The first of the 3 archetypes I want to bring up that I had an idea for is a second recycler engineer similar to Sal. The engineers build deployables and support ship function by recycling unneeded equipment into something better. So adding a new character like Sal that recycles to different equipment, maybe something like an auto turret, maybe something like a new hardpoint that combines a couple other hardpoints like Sal does. Something like that I think would be great. More engineer options leaves more options for onboard ship enjoyment. The second archetype that I want to talk about is the gunner. Currently, we do not have a gunner, and I think that it'd be really good for us to have a character that is designed to be the ship gunner and stay on the guns, hold down that area, and make sure he never goes off them. So a character that's going to have some sort of defense item, maybe a barricade that allows him to stay at the turrets without being shot in the back as easily, somebody who's tanky, slow, and built for just holding down a space. Somebody like that would be really good and allow people to more enjoy the process of being a gunner. The third archetype that I want to bring up is the exterior defender. We have Samo, but Samo is an interior defender. And so I think adding an exterior ship defender that is the anti-boarder would be a really good idea. So a guardian of the outer hull, I'm thinking a robot kind of like Venture, so you don't have to worry about oxygen. This anti-boarder would have a kit that's designed to repel boarders, so maybe something like a slightly longer range turret, maybe something like what Torbjorn has in Overwatch. Together, these 3 archetypes would help assist Samo and Sal in creating an ecosystem of defense and a cast of characters for every playstyle. Currently, there is far too many characters that focus on boarding and aggressive playstyle, and I think it would be healthy for the game to have more defensive characters, because if we have a more broad array of prospectors, I think the health of the game will last longer. Now let's peek behind the curtains from the creator's box seat. Wildgate is fun to watch, it's chaotic, it's cinematic, and it's full of unscripted moments. But there are some pacing issues that can slow down the show. Scanners travel very slow, and you have to do some very long scanner missions. I think increasing the travel speed of scanners would just ease the use of scanners and be a little bit less boring to experience and a little bit less boring to watch. Intermission with no popcorn. I propose a little bit more moments of action or mini games in the pre-match lobby. You spend a minute and a half hanging out waiting for everybody to load in after your usually minute and a half queue time, and it's fun because there's a little mini game where you can fly around through some rings. But I think adding more mini games or shortening that pre-match load time would be good, because there's a lot of downtime, especially for streamers during that period of time. Lastly, I think that we need some sort of last stand mechanic. If your ship blows up, you can still stay alive as long as you want after your ship blows up, but you have no way to win. I think that there should be a mechanic that's added where if your ship has expired, you can carry the artifact through the Wildgate on foot, so you have some sort of option to turn the tides in the last moment and get some kind of crazy clip that's just amazing and sticks in your mind forever. So, to both Moonshot and Dreamhaven, from the bottom of my chaotic content creating heart, you're doing something magical here. Wildgate is beautiful, it's functional, and it respects the player. Not only is that rare, it's worth supporting. To everyone watching, this is a game that feels like games used to. A playground of peril and possibility, not monetized nonsense. And the devs, they're not just making a game, they're building a world with us. So here's my curtain call. Give the pilot some tools, tone down the overperformers, keep the chaos, and never stop valuing your players or creators. This has been Q's a Riot, your vaudevillian vanguard of video game feedback. I'll see you through the gate, friends. Curtains down for now. Thanks.